ਗਾਵੇ ਕੋ ਵੇਖੈ ਹਾਦਰਾ ਹਦੂਰ, ਕਥ ਨਾ ਕਥੀ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ ਤੋਟ, ਕਥ ਕਥ ਕਥੀ ਕੋਟੀ ਕੋਟ ਕੋਟ, ਦੇਦਾ ਦੇ ਲੈਦੇ ਥਕ ਪਾਏ, ਜੁਗਾ ਜੁਗੰਤਰ ਖਾਈ ਖਾਏ, ਹੁਕਮੇ ਹੁਕਮ ਚਲਾਏ ਰਾਹੋ, ਨਾਨਕ ਵਿਖਸੈ ਵੇ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਹੋ।
Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to lesson number 14 of the Japji Sahib Volume 2 Gurbani Study Curriculum for USM. We're going to be finishing Pori number 3 today. So the first lines that we're going to go over, Katna Kati na ave tot, Kat Kat Kati Koti Kot Kot. These two lines are talking about the idea that even if millions of people try to understand God by discussing Him, by talking about Him, they still won't be able to understand Him. So the bottom line here is that God is beyond our understanding. And this is something we've talked about in the previous bodies as well, but just to reiterate its importance, we have to admit and be okay with the fact that we will never be able to fully understand God and what God does, or why God does certain things. He is beyond our understanding. Our minds don't have that ability. Instead, we have to fall in line with faith and trust that whatever God is doing is for our own benefit. So again, that doesn't mean that you don't try to understand God's attributes or what God is trying to say. Of course, we want to learn that. But the idea that, hey, you know what, by my own efforts, by my own intelligence and mind, I can understand God. We have to get rid of that thought process that, no, you know what? We will never be able to fully understand why God does certain things or doesn't do certain things. And we have to be okay with that. And for a lot of people, that's a very, very tough pill to swallow, because a lot of people have big egos. Hey, I have a PhD from this Ivy League school. I was given this grant. I'm so intelligent. Of course, I can understand anything. I've studied the hardest subjects in school and done well. Many people have this mindset. And then when they come to God, they aren't able to comprehend Him because He's beyond their comprehension. And this frustrates them. And instead of moving spiritually up the ladder and trying to get closer to God by falling in love and having more trust and faith, they become frustrated and give up their spiritual journey. So it's important here to understand and remember and accept and be okay with the fact that, God is beyond our understanding. We will never fully be able to understand God, why He does certain things, why He doesn't do certain things. We have to be okay with that. In the next lines, Guru Nanak Sahib talks about the idea that God keeps on giving, right? Denda de lende thak paye, juga jugantar khai khai. That this giver God keeps on giving, and the God Himself, the giver, will never get tired of giving, but us, the receivers, may get tired of receiving. That's how much God loves us, how much He gives us, is He keeps giving and giving and giving to the point where we may even actually say, I've had enough. Like I can't take any more of what you're giving me. You've given me too much. We would stop asking first. God will keep on giving. That's how much He loves us. And it's important to realize that God keeps on giving to us despite the fact that we may not deserve everything He's giving. We don't say our thank yous. We don't follow Guru's value system. We treat others badly. We lie, we cheat, we steal, we hurt other people's feelings. We treat people differently based on certain characteristics. We do all of these things that the Guru doesn't want us to do. But despite that, He forgives us and keeps on giving, keeps on showering His love. For example, if we don't do our Nitnem one day, or if we hurt our friends' feelings, or we treat someone differently based on their economic status, the Guru doesn't decide one day, you know what, you didn't do your Nitnem, so I'm not going to give you dinner tonight. Or you hurt someone's feelings, I'm not going to give you water today. Or, you know what, you treated someone badly, so I'm not going to give you air to breathe today. No, the Guru always gives. He keeps on giving no matter what we do, because He is the most forgiving and the most loving. But we want to understand that from a different point of view as well. Imagine if one of you were giving and giving to one of your friends. You kept giving your friend money and emotional support and food and water and gifts and any type of help he or she needed. You kept on giving. But that person never said one thank you. You asked them to act a certain way, to do certain things. It would be nice if you did this sometimes. It would be nice if you acted this way sometimes. I'm giving you all of these things. But that person never did one thing you asked them to do, didn't appreciate you one bit. They kept on taking from you and taking from you and taking from you. But they did not acknowledge you. They did not say thank you. They did not do anything you asked. They just kept taking and taking. The vast majority of us would stop giving because we would be upset. You're not appreciating my gifts. You're not doing anything I'm asking you to do. I keep giving and giving and giving. You don't say thank you once. You don't appreciate it, and you do the opposite of what I'm asking you to do. Why should I keep on giving you things? What's the point? That's our human way of approaching the situation. Now look how Guru Sahib does it. Look how God does it. Akal Purakh Vaheguru. We're doing what our friend does. We're taking and taking and taking. We enjoy our families, our friends, food to eat, water to drink, cars to drive, houses to live, clothes to wear, everything we're enjoying every second of our life. But we don't say thank you to God. We don't praise him. We don't serve him. We don't sing to him. We don't do our part. We don't treat other people well. We don't do the things that he asks us to do, but he still keeps on giving. That's how much love he has for us. So this line reminds us that, hey, you know what? We keep on receiving. Let's do something to thank God for all of these gifts. Let's go on his path. Let's do what he's asking us to do. He's given us so much, more than we could ever imagine. In the next line, Juga Jugantar Khai Khai, people have been receiving his gifts for millions of years. We keep on receiving. But what are we giving back? Right? What are we doing in return for his gifts? Are we doing the stuff he's asking? Are we doing our nitnem? Are we learning kirtan and rag? Are we keeping rehat? Are we being nice to each other? Are we doing seva? Are we treating people equally? Are we being kind and generous and forgiving to each other? Or are we doing the opposite? We need to ask ourselves, we keep receiving, but are we doing anything in return for what we are receiving? Are we doing anything to thank God for what we've been given? Those are questions that each of us have to answer individually. And then the last two lines of the Pauri, Hukmi hukam chalai rao, Nanak viksa ve parvao. That hukam, right? Hukmi, God's hukam, is in charge of everything in this world. No one has control of hukam, only God does, because he acts through hukam, through his commands, through his command as in certain actions must happen. This event must happen here, but also the other side of hukam, which is the value system, that I want people to act in a certain way. I want them to be kind and considerate and compassionate. I don't want them to be angry or greedy or treat people badly. So this hukam is managing this entire world. God is managing the world through his order. And then the last line, when God sees his creation, he's in bliss, he's carefree. Okay, he sees what he has created. He's not worried, he's not stressed, he's completely carefree in bliss. And what Guru Nanak Sahib is trying to say here is if we accept hukam, if we accept his order, his will, both in the sense that we accept events in our life that happen, maybe good ones, a birth of someone, or sad ones, such as losing a loved one or anything, we accept that as all good. We accept that hukam, that those orders, those events with open arms. And the other side of hukam, if we accept his value system, hey, his hukam is we do our nitnem every day. We treat people well and with respect. If we do everything he says, whatever his hukam is for us to act, behave, and think, then we also become into a state of bliss. We also become carefree. Okay, all that stress, anxiety, loneliness that we have, they all go away once we become in line with hukam. Now, a good example that some authors use is if you look at, let's say, a dance routine or an orchestra in which everyone is doing their part, right? In a dance routine, everyone knows the same dance moves are done at a certain time. And if you do your moves at a certain time, there's order in the routine, right? That everyone is in harmony. You don't see anyone acting strangely. Everyone is doing what they're supposed to do at the right time. The whole dance group is acting as one unit when people are following the routine. They're in harmony with the music and with each other. Now, if one of the dancers forgets some of the steps or messes up the timing, he or she is no longer carefree and in bliss, right? They mess up the steps, they get embarrassed, they mess up the routine, they look different, it's as if they're ruining their entire routine. They're stressed out, they're embarrassed, full of anxiety. Some authors have used this example to describe us, people, that if we're following hukam, okay, we're following God's orders, we are also in harmony with the rest of the world. We are following the routine that God has set for us. We're in step with God and with his hukam. We're carefree because we're one with him when we're following his hukam. But the minute we don't follow his hukam, when we act in ways that God doesn't want us to act, or we don't accept and fight instead the events happening that we feel we don't like, if we fight them rather than accept them, then suddenly we lose our harmony in hukam. And when we lose that harmony in hukam, when we're not one with his order, we become stressed, we become full of anxiety, we become angry, and all the vices that we were trying to get away from suddenly enter our body pretty easily. So the idea here is we can also be carefree if we are in step with hukam. And with that, you're going to be doing the next activity as well, which should lead to a great discussion. And I will see you next week when we start Pauri number 4. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.